The Real Estate and Mortgage Show, your go-to spot for everything home buying, selling, and financing. On News Talk 580 CFRA, Frank Napolitano from Mortgage Brokers Ottawa and Paul Rushforth from Paul Rushforth Real Estate.
Well, not quite with Frank Napolitano.
No, thank God Frank's away. Yeah.
We got welcoming back Lisa Belanger from Mortgage Brokers Ottawa. Welcome back,
Thank you
Lisa.
very much. Happy to be back.
Awesome. You know, I woke up this morning in such a good mood. And I was like, why am I in such a good mood? And I was like, you know, it's beautiful and sunny out. I got 3 wonderful kids. You know, I run a thriving business. Got a beautiful girlfriend. I mean, one of those reasons has to be the reason I'm in such a good mood today.
All amazing reasons.
And I dug deep. I dug real deep. And I realized that although those are great reasons, Frank's gone for 4 weeks. That's why I'm in such a good mood. This
Frank
is
needs
awesome.
A great vacation. Frank is on a well-deserved vacation.
Oh, you keep saying that. He's not. My God.
He is.
Also, Lisa, so we've got you this week and next week as
This
well,
week and
right?
next week, yep.
Awesome.
I could say the average age obviously has gone down.
Significant.
And the looks have actually gone up. So now
Way
that Frank's
up.
away. So thanks,
kind.
Lisa, for joining
So
us.
kind.
Yes.
Awesome. All right. So this week, a little bit of economic news coming out. How's that sort of affecting rates? We got some GDP news out. It's down 0.4%. How's that looking for rates and all that kind of stuff?
From what we've seen so far, not a lot of movement. But as we all know, when the economy starts doing worse, the rates start to go down. So likely to see a little bit of movement. But again, we've got a Bank of Canada announcement coming up very soon. So that'll be telling. Although everything I'm seeing so far is thinking maybe there won't be any kind of a change once again to the prime rate, another hold. But you know what? That changes on a daily basis. So
It really
we'll see
does.
What happens at the open markets?
But it did change a little bit, Lisa. Like it was a 40% chance that they're going to drop rates. They've increased that to now 50% chance they're going to drop rates on the 17th. And, you know, there's lots of the news coming out about, you know, the GDP. We're going into a little bit of a mini recession. And everyone knows what happens when you go into a recession. And you know what happens when the economy struggles, like you said.
Yeah.
Rates have to come down, right? So it's... I personally predict, I know Frank last week was saying that he predicts that the rates aren't going to come down. I'm really hoping they do, and I do predict they will come down.
We all hope they do.
Well, yeah, but I mean, we got 3 weeks left until the announcement, right?
Yeah,
So we got
exactly.
anything
It
can happen.
changes.
We got a job report, we got an inflation report, and who knows what's going to happen. And it all depends on, as Frank said last week, this one gentleman in the States called Mr. Trump, that he'll define what really happens, you know?
Yeah, that always.
Well, it sounds like the U.S. is moving towards a rate cut, and I think their announcement is the same day or the day before.
It's usually the day before.
Yeah.
Day
Or
before,
it's
yeah.
The day before, yeah.
But yeah, everything I was reading this week was Jerome Powell's looking at a cut. It looks pretty likely for the U.S. So do we follow suit often, or is it?
Well, remember, we cut and they didn't. So there's some room to play catch up.
Yeah.
But again, I think I've said this before. We are a different animal for sure, but we are so closely related to the one across the border that we tend to follow suit more times than not. But you know, the Bank of Canada really has been going out on its own. It seems a lot more than we've seen historically. So.
Well, I know it's early, but, you know, with Carney sort of dropping tariffs on a lot of things, it'll decide. I mean, that's why they say part of this issue with, you know, coming into a bit of a minor recession could have some of that to do with the factor, which it's too early to tell. It was just last week, right? So, but I think how that's going to come out, how that's going to play out on our economy and rates and, you know, inflation and unemployment. I mean, I think unemployment is definitely going up. I mean, we could be, you know, as high as double digits of unemployment, which is scary. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, all we can do is wait and see, I guess.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, if we do end up getting a cut, how does that look for the market and like first-time buyers coming back in? And
really good, actually. We've already seen first-time home buyers come back. I mean, when the prices were insane and when the rates were really high, first-time home buyers and investors were completely gone out of the market. As the prices started to come down, especially first-time home buyer products in the condos and the townhomes, as those prices started coming down, rates started coming down, we got about let's say 50, 60% of those first-time home buyers back into the market. So we still, let's say we have 35, 40% still sitting on the sidelines, waiting a little bit for rates to come down. If you're waiting for prices to drop, you're making a massive mistake. I mean, the rates are going to drop. The prices are not going to drop. Even though it feels we're in a tough market right now, prices are still up 3%. So they're definitely not coming down.
Well, especially in Ottawa, right?
Especially
it's
in
just
Ottawa.
this very
So-
stable market.
So I think first-time home buyers are going to come back into the market. Just one more price reduction. I think we're price reduction. One more price cut. I do think their optimism will be there. We'll get first-time home buyers back into the market. Will we have 100% back in the market? No, probably not. But the biggest problem is when first-time home buyers took themselves out of the market, they went into the rental game.
Yes.
Well, what happens in the rental trap is you're paying $25, $27, $28, $3,000 a month, plus utilities, plus your groceries, plus your
Impossible
gas.
to save.
How do you save for a down payment? And
Yeah.
so a lot of those first-time home buyers aren't coming back specifically just for rates and prices. They're coming back because now they're in the rental trap, which is very sad because once you're in the rental trap, it's hard to get out of that rental trap.
We've seen a lot. Yeah, we've seen a lot more first timers coming back for sure, and talking a lot more this week to people about making sure that they have their first home savings accounts going. I mean, we're going into September. There's only a few months left, really, of the year. If you have your first home savings account started and open, went over this with even one of our kids. You want to make sure that you're capping out on the maximum that you can each year. So.
Right. So if for people that don't know, can you explain the first home savings account a little bit?
Yeah, so it's the first home savings account is kind of like an RSP married to TFSA. You get your tax deduction with your contributions, which is great. You can, hopefully increase that, get a bit of a higher tax refund, and then you also get to use the funds for the purchase of your first home, but you don't have to pay it back like you do with the RSP home buyers plan.
Oh, okay.
So you can contribute $8,000 per year.
Right.
Which is why I was saying don't lose out on that $8,000. If you started your first home savings account, you plan to buy within 15 years, because that is a rule. You have to use the funds within 15 years of opening it.
Right.
Make sure you don't lose out on that $8,000. You can carry it forward by 1 year, but after that, you're going to lose out.
So each year, if you don't contribute, you're done. You're out.
Yeah, so you can make up what you can carry it forward for 1 year. So if you opened it in 2024 and you didn't contribute $8,000, you can still make up that amount plus your $8,000 for this year.
Okay, got it.
So you have that for a first-time home buyer. You have land transfer rebate of $4,000. I know Frank was saying they'd love to see that number go up.
Yeah.
$4,000 on land transfer is nothing. And then, of course, we have the HST, which is actually in the debate phase of the second reading. And it's, again, they're meeting again on September 14th. And so that will most likely come in where first-time home buyers, when they're buying off a new home builder, will eliminate the GST on a purchase.
Which would be great.
Which will be great. There's 5% off the purchase price right there. So now you're looking at a $400,000 home. 5% is $20,000. So now you're taking $20,000 of GST right off the price. So that's most likely coming in. It's in the second reading right now, debate phase. But I'd like to say lock it in because, I mean, that was one of the proposals of the election.
That's a big one.
That's a big one. And so that'll be huge. And that's going to help the first-time home buyers. It's going to help the new home builders. So when someone a first-time home buyer, they buy, they're saving $4,000 in land transfer tax. They are waiving, getting rid of the GST. Like I mentioned, it's not done yet, but most likely will be done. And so now you're saving the GST, which is 5% on a new home purchase of a new home builder for a first-time home buyer. So, I mean,
then you can get a 30-year amortization.
Yep.
So that helps in qualifying as well.
As a first-time buyer, you can go in at 30
if you're buying a new construction, actually anybody can do 30-year amortization now. But it's a big, sometimes bigger incentive for first-time home buyers than
it allows them to qualify easier, right?
Exactly.
So
without needing to have more assistance.
And there's a lot of first-time home buyers that are right on that fence of qualifying. So now, if you can get out of that rental trap and you have all these programs at your disposal, plus rates are coming down, prices are, 3% is pretty stagnant, but so your prices are healthy, your interest rates coming down, and you have all these programs, great time to be a first-time home buyer jumping into this market for sure.
So what are first-time home buyers looking at right now? Like what's kind of the hot product for...
Well, it's always the smaller townhomes and it's always the condos. Well, what's the market right now that's been the hottest market is the townhouse market.
Right.
But during COVID, when the prices started to come down after the COVID rush, what product got hit the worst? The townhomes. So there's more room for the townhomes to go up. The only segment of the market right now that's in a little bit of trouble right now is the condo market. That's the only market that's down in this economy right now. It's down, I think, 1.2 or 1.4.
I'm seeing a lot more condos.
Yeah.
A lot more condo purchases.
So the inventory is going up of condos. And so it's still an affordable investment, but it's the only segment of the market right now that's actually struggling. You take away those condos that are struggling right now, and I think we're in a much better economy and much better market than we're actually in right now.
Slightly higher than that 3% growth. The condos is kind of
lagging us
because
because the townhomes, I think it was 8 point something, almost 9% that the townhomes are up right now this year. So they're the healthy product. That's what first time home buyers are buying. Those during the crazy COVID months, like if you found something in the 6s, that was a steal of a deal. They were all in the 700s and the 800s. Now, Lisa was saying this morning, she saw a townhouse the other day at 589.
Yeah, it was great. I was like, wow, interesting.
But you know what's funny though? If you would have said that 4 years ago when they're at like 325, I would have been like,
laughed.
People would have laughed at you at 580. Yeah,
I know. And a lot of people were buying them up at the 3s.
Yeah.
Right? A $300,000 townhouse. Like, it just sounds
March 13th,
unbelievable. Just
before COVID hit, March 13th, I bought a townhouse in Orleans for $380,000. And I remember thinking to myself, holy, I overpaid for this townhouse.
Edging up on that 400,
Edging up on that 400. I paid $380, and it was I think I way overpaid for that. Within like a year, I was like, holy moly, I could sell this for $100,000 profit.
I remember when I had our very first house was a townhouse. And then obviously selling it, moving up to a single home. And we were the first to sell a townhouse in Riverside South for $200,000.
Yeah.
And we were sort of thinking, that's insane. Who
You
would
set
ever
the
pay
mark.
$200,000 for a townhouse?
Jackpot.
Oh my gosh. I think I'm dating myself there, but anyway.
My first townhouse I almost bought. I was going away to play pro hockey and I wanted to have an investment here. Canada townhouse, $107,000.
Wow.
And I didn't buy it. I wish I would have.
521-TALK, 521-8255. We'll be right back with Lisa Belanger from Mortgage Brokers Ottawa and Paul Rushforth from Paul Rushforth Real
missed
Estate.
the first segment. Frank is away. Thank God. We have Lisa in the studio instead of Frank.
Standing in today.
Yep.
Glad to have you once again, Lisa. Talking about townhouses in the first segment, we got some pretty nice new ones coming up in Russell, right?
Yeah, well, we have are you talking about the Clement Homes?
Yeah,
the grand opening. Yeah, well, so first of all, with Clement Homes, we're building in Rockland. We have townhomes and condos on the golf course, on the Rockland golf course, which are amazing. And then the same townhomes we're building in a community in Russell. We have a few hundred townhomes going up there, and the building's going up feverish. But we have the grand opening, so it's going to be on Sunday, September 7th. Ribbon cutting. Come have some treats, some champagne. Come meet me. Come meet Greg. Come out to the grand opening out in Russell. If you go to southwestparkhomes.com, southwestparkhomes.com, and take a look at the grand opening. It's 1 to 4 on a Sunday, September 7th. Love to have you out there. We're selling townhomes in the absolute low fives, like just over 500,000. And we're talking with standards with granite, gourmet kitchens, hardwood floors throughout, ceramic tile, upgraded carpets. You name it, it's there as a standard feature in the low fives for a townhome in Russell.
And when are those closing?
Those are closing. We have some that will be closing as early as, we had someone who actually closed the other day on one of the townhomes in Russell.
Okay.
So they're closing ASAP, some of them, but we will be closing on some of them. We're building 200. So we're going to be closing some for the next probably year and a half.
I'm just thinking more rate hold.
Yeah. So, well, you can
How long do people need their mortgage rate
Well, that's
held
it.
for?
We can talk about a rate hold because that's really, really important because we do have some that shovels aren't even in the ground yet.
Right.
And we have others that people are moving into right now. So if you come in and you're like, you know what, I want to be in that location over there, and that location we're not digging till February.
Yeah.
So what do they do then?
For a rate hold?
Yeah.
So back to the original question. So I guess how long are they taking to build them? Typically, you're holding a rate for, let's say, 4 months. Some lenders will do 130 days on a regular rate hold. Some lenders are 90 days, whatever the case may be. But you're usually looking at typically getting, rates held for 4 months, unless there's a builder program in place already. In which case, people will get the builder program, and then they come back and they take a look and see what's available when they're within that 4 month period.
So that's really, really important. And I always tell people, like, if you go into some of the major builders, they might have a bank entrenched in there already, and they'll say, no problem. With the builder, we can give you a 14-month rate hold. But it's going to be at 7%.
It'll be higher.
It'll be much higher. Now, it won't be 7, but let's say it's probably going to be 5 and a bit. It's probably, even though the rates are in the low 4s, high 3s, it's probably going to be 5 and a bit. What I strongly recommend is if you go to see Lisa and she can only hold you for a 4-month rate hold, you could take that rate from the builder just in case rates go crazy again.
You're capped.
You could take that. You're capped. That's going to be your rate. But then within 4 months, it's a good idea to shop that rate around.
Absolutely.
Because don't get stuck with that 5.25 or whatever it's going to be. Within 4 months, you talk to the Lisas and the Franks of the world and say, okay, I got a rate hold for 5.25%. It's now 2026 in March. What can I get now? And I guarantee it's going to be lower than 5.25.
Yeah, you want to be protected for sure. I mean, gone are the days when there used to be the builder incentives where they would hold the interest rates almost the same rate, actually, for 12 months. Then it went to 18 months. Those longer rate holds started coming with a premium. So, and you know what? Even a regular pre-approval or a rate hold these days comes with a premium. Not all lenders will do rate holds anymore. Not all lenders will do pre-approvals anymore. So if they are, they're adding a premium on top of that because they're essentially holding those funds aside on their own balance sheet, if they happen to work from a balance sheet, anticipating that those mortgages are going to close, but knowing full well that they may not, because a lot of lenders will have rates that are lower, that haven't committed to them already, and they will hold them for a shorter period of time.
So let me ask you this. This happens a lot in the States. I'm not sure if this happens a lot in Canada. In the States, a lot of times you'll go into a new home builder, and they'll say, your house is ready in 14, 15 months.
Yeah.
Rates at that time, we don't know. So we're going to lock you into a 5.25. Now, the States is different because they're already at six and something. But let's just say they're not there. Let's say their rates are like ours. And they say, okay, we'll lock you in at a 5.25. What they're doing in the States now, they're saying, I'll tell you what, we will give you $25,000 at the design center, or we will buy down that rate for you and make that rate 4% for you. They're doing that in a lot of new home builder sites in the States. Do they do that here in Canada? I don't think so, do they?
They will use incentives like that.
Yeah.
They do a lot of, as you know, design center upgrades.
Yeah.
There are some builders that will buy down rates if they're trying to get rid of inventory homes, we've seen in a lot of cases. But remember, in the States, they don't have shorter terms like we do. They lock in their mortgage for their duration of, 25, 30 years. And so, I mean, if you think about it, 5% for 30 years, that's probably not such a bad gig. However, they don't have penalties when you break out of those. So you can move. But now, what happens if you have locked in your mortgage at 2%, which, okay, I don't think they were quite as low. Let's say somebody locked in at 5% for 30 years. The incentive for them to move is even less. So as you were saying, with the markets tanking in Florida, and it's happening in lots of other states, a lot of people are not wanting to move because they don't want to break out of those mortgages. So in Canada, although sometimes people say, oh, I really wish I could have locked my rate in for a lot longer at a better interest rate, it is kind of nice to have that flexibility, because I always say a lock can happen in 5 years. Oh my God, what happens in 30 years?
Yeah. And there's a lot of areas in the States that are very stagnant because of that. Because there's a lot of people who live in, let's say, older retirement communities who have no interest in moving and selling. Not to boot, they're in a low rate. So like if I'm in a 5% in the States, which is super low in the States, and if I know if I move, sure, I can probably port my mortgage, but now you're blending with a 6.5.
A lot of them aren't even portable.
Some of them aren't even portable. So now people are like, okay, so why would I move? And a lot of places in the States, and it's weird, it's in a lot of the sunshine states, the Floridas, the Californias, the Phoenixes, all those places, the Arizonas, a lot of those places, it's very stagnant. There's not a lot of movement because of that, because they're locked into 30-year rates.
Right.
Where here, we're in anywhere from a 1 year to it could be 6 months, but usually it's a 3 year to a 5 year is what we're locked into here. And I think what people are doing here is it's people move every 5 to 7 years because of that. Where in the States, they're staying longer now because of what's going on with the rates.
All right, 521-TALK, 521-8255. We'll be right back. So, Lisa, just before the break, we were talking about, obviously mortgage rates and all that kind of stuff and refinancing all that time. Is there ever a time where it's worth taking the penalty to refinance a mortgage?
Yeah, there's oftentimes it's worth it. It's not always worth it. You really have to break down the math. We're doing a lot of that right now for cash flow management, tying in other debt, or combining a line of credit with a mortgage, that kind of thing. The math has to make sense. So, I mean, the short answer is yes, there is oftentimes when it is worth it, but you really have to be working with someone who's going to break down the math for you to make sure you're going to make that penalty back, typically by the same maturity date that you've already got. It's kind of the benchmark that we try to use. If we're looking at increasing cash flow more than anything else, sometimes we'll extend that out by a year or two as far as the maturity date is concerned, but we usually try to make sure you're going to make that penalty back
Right.
at least by the same maturity date that you have now, and then your savings.
Right.
goes
And a
forward.
lot of that's rolling in higher interest debt and stuff
Yeah,
like
there's
that
a lot more
to-
savings than just that.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay,
I mean, if
yeah.
you're paying 24% on a bunch of credit cards and even unsecured lines of credit now, I mean, they're in the 12, 13% range. So there's a lot of people rolling those in just to save on interest, but also increase cash flow.
I had a realtor who used to work for me. Two realtors actually used to work for me. And I'm not saying any names because they know how ridiculous this is, but the one lady was brought up that you pay off your house as fast as possible.
Yes.
You just pay that thing off as fast as possible. So they ran into a little bit of credit card debt, and credit card rate was 20.99.
Oh, dear.
Their mortgage rate at the time was like 2.99, and they had a massive debt on their credit card, but they had tons of equity in their house.
Didn't want to use it.
So I was like, well, that's not a big deal. Just refinance the house, take some of that money, pay off the high interest debt, and then obviously you add a little bit more to your mortgage. No, I was brought up that you never add to your mortgage. You pay it off and pay it off. I'm like, okay, hold on. One's at 2.99, one's at 20.99. Which debt is more important to get rid of first, the 20.99 or the 2.99? Couldn't get it through to them that it was smarter to do that and get rid of the credit card debt. I guarantee today their house is paid off, but they got jacked up credit cards.
Yeah, and credit card rates the interest rate is even calculated differently than it is on a mortgage. So you're actually paying more. So you've got your 29% or 25% credit card, but remember, they're charging you right from day one after your grace period,
Right.
until that credit card debt is paid off. So you're paying more interest on the interest, and which is why it's like a perpetual chasing to pay things off. You know,
Right.
what you should be able to pay off in, let's say, 12 months. If you think you're going to pay it off in 12 months, if you're only making that minimum payment, it could take you 100 years.
Well,
before you
it
get paid
actually
off.
says on
It says on your
that
statement.
you will
Yeah.
get this paid off if you make the minimum payment in 272
Yeah.
years. Like,
Exactly.
you know, I actually had a friend who I actually said, you know what, just do me a favor. I will actually pay off your credit card. I'll give you a small interest that you're going to pay me every single month to pay me back. But I can't watch you pay a minimum on a 20.99% interest rate, because guess what? You're now 45 at the time. It says you're going to pay this off in 276
You're
years.
never paying it off.
And I don't claim to be the smartest person in the world, but I don't think you live till 276. I don't think.
That's not very
But
good.
I may be wrong, but if you do, then maybe I don't know what's going on. But
Maybe that's just you, Paul, living,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
276.
I don't know. This body's been through the wars. I don't know. I don't know if I can live that long.
So, Lisa, in terms of refinancing and stuff like that, are you seeing a lot more reverse mortgages coming through? Are you any of that kind of stuff? Like,
Yeah,
what do you?
we're doing a lot more reverse mortgages. The new sort of trend, if you will, is a lot of people using reverse mortgages to give down payments to their kids, adult kids, or their grandkids,
Right.
because they want to see them enjoy the gift that they're leaving them now versus afterwards. Again, this is on the assumption that people are, doing their estate planning this way.
Right.
You are giving up part of your equity, but you also are keeping your home, and your home is continuing to grow in value. So when you're doing a reverse mortgage, you can take out a chunk of money. You don't have to make any payments on it, which is nice.
Right.
And the calculation is worked in, which we talked about the last time, I know, to make sure that you are still staying ahead. We put in a reasonable growth amount when we're looking at it. We're looking at if you're male or female. That's what we talked about last time.
Right.
And we are making sure that it's dependent on where your market is. And they're only going to give you up to 55% of the value of your property. And again, you have to be, in your 80s to get 55%. So it's very conservative. But it's a really nice way
listen,
for people to be able to pass it on.
We're an aging population. There's probably more people taking advantage of that now than they have in the past.
Oh, absolutely.
And there's more people now, actually. I mean, nothing against retirement residents, but have you seen the cost of what they are right now?
It's insane.
It's insane. So there's more and more people who are finding ways to keep mom and dad in a house.
Yeah.
And living their final years in a house and bringing people in rather
take care of
than
them.
to take care of them. One, they're living in their own beautiful house, which they've lived in for years. And so they're a little more at peace, a little more comfortable. They're not going to the retirement residence. They're not spending 6, 7, 8, 10, 12 grand a month for a retirement residence. And they're living comfortably in their own home. And it probably costs you less to bring people in. So we're seeing more people, more elderly, that are actually staying in their homes before going to these retirement residences. So,
yeah.
Which
and
is,
people
which
will
is
even
great.
move down. We've done reverse mortgages where people are buying a home to move down to, but they don't want to now put all of their funds and pay cash for the property.
Yeah.
So they'll get a reverse mortgage, and they still don't have to make any kind of a payment. But it's not necessarily just for, travel or anything else. We've seen people who are taking reverse mortgages to purchase a home
Good.
Helping out kids, family.
for themselves.
Oh, even for themselves.
Yeah, for themselves.
Oh,
No, we will.
interesting.
We probably will see more as you age. I personally think what I'll probably do as I age is I'll probably near the end get in more into a rental, and rather than I'll sell my investments and give the money to my kids and live in a rental rather than me owning something. Now I say that now, but I'm still a young buck at 51 years old. But
I think Hunter's calling already about that.
oh,
again.
Hunter already told me.
Congratulations to
Hunter
Hunter.
already told me he's burying me in the backyard. So I mean, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I'm very, very excited. My son, my 21-year-old son, is just graduated to be a real estate agent. So Hunter is
Very
now
exciting.
a licensed realtor, which is exciting. So he won't be excited with the training process,
No.
but once a 21-year green, right? You're super green. So
But we're always learning. So, we're always in training.
absolutely.
Real estate mortgages.
But he actually said, he goes, so when does my training end? I'm like, I don't know. I'm
Never.
51 and my training still's not ending. I'm
Still going.
Yeah. He says, what are you doing? I said, I'm on an all-day Zoom with my real estate coach on a coaching platform. He's like, why? You still learn? I'm like, absolutely. If you want to be successful, you have to still be learning.
And it's part of the fun.
Yeah.
It's never boring. No 2 days are ever the same. No two files are ever the same.
Yeah.
You're dealing with different people all the time. So, yeah, always learning is important.
Absolutely.
Hunter, my future new boss.
Well, it's funny when I actually posted something with Hunter Rushforth from Paul Rushforth Real Estate came out on the Ottawa Real Estate Board newsletter, and I was so proud. I circled it and I put it on Facebook, and all of a sudden my friends now are mocking up these new billboards saying Paul and Hunter Rushforth Real Estate, and and I'm like, oh yeah, and of course I send that to my son. He's like, probably one day. And I'm like, I don't know, bud. I don't know, maybe.
Well, you'll never retire.
No, it's just I'm having too much fun.
Yeah.
How can you retire when you have fun? And they say that, right? Like when you're having fun, it's not a job. It's not a job. And we're lucky. We get to help people.
We do.
Like we're in a job that we actually get
It's
to
my
help
most
people.
favorite part.
There's nothing. It literally, I've never counted a commission check. I've never counted any of that stuff, but I do. I literally get off on compliments and helping people. That I totally get. Like when they say, wow, I couldn't have done this without you. That's worth $1 million right there for me.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
Absolutely.
the helping is the best.
Well, it's talking to the right professional, right?
No, it
to
is. It's
to
really
get that
important.
good advice.
I remember when I worked at the bank, and I remember saying to my dad, I was at the bank, and I remember saying, I was just so unhappy because I didn't like the way the bank was pushing all these things on us that you had to sell this, sell this, sell. And I'm like, I really don't think I can do this. Like, I don't like to sell things to people that they don't need. And I'm not a salesperson. And he's like, well, what do you really like to do? I'm like, I like to help people.
Yeah.
I want to help people. And that's kind of what's taken me on the trajectory of been this, this awesome career of mine that I absolutely love. Am I going finance investment or am I going finance on the mortgage side of things? So,
well, it's probably why you align with Frank and Mike, to be honest with you, because we've talked about this we've been on the radio now, Frank and I, since, 2007 or something like that. And the one thing that we both agree on is I'll throw away a deal. He'll throw away a mortgage if it doesn't make sense for the person.
yeah, it has to make sense.
If it doesn't make sense for the person, I'm not doing the deal. Whereas I'm sure there's some realtors, I'm sure there's some mortgage brokers
there
that just
are.
want to do deals. Whereas I don't believe in that. I believe, listen, if I do the right thing by you and I'm like, don't buy this house, please don't buy this house. And you listen to me and we squash that deal, it's coming back in spades, right?
Absolutely.
You're probably buying a house and telling your cousins about me, right?
Yeah.
So you always do the right thing. And I think that's probably why you align with Frank. And I think that's why I align with Frank too, because we're not all about, the corporate greed. We're about helping people.
If I can't sleep at night, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
If somebody will do it, I've said people, they're like, I really want this. Somebody will do this for you, but it's not going to be me. Because it's just not the right thing to do.
Well, when you say you can't sleep at night, Greg, I could see Greg going, yeah, I know. But that's 8 beers in, Greg, that you can't sleep at night. That's why you struggle at sleep. Lisa and I are different. you
Yeah,
know?
that'll make a difference.
Yeah. But your 8th beer probably didn't put you over the edge, put it that way.
Yeah.
You know what, Steve's not here, and there's a couple of people that have said, you know what? Your show's not quite as funny without Steve. And I'm like, okay, well, we will be more funny then. How's that?
I will try my best, but you signed my paycheck, so I got to be nice.
You can't pick on me. That's right. Yeah.
Frank can, though.
Frank, I'm sorry you're in the crosshairs now.
Well, speaking of Frank, and I don't mean to bring up disturbing pictures, but Frank sent Lisa and I a picture before we got on the air, right? He sends a picture. What he doesn't realize, there's a mirror in the back of where the picture is being taken, and it's going front. So I could see
That is not the picture I got.
could see what he's wearing. I could see what Frank's wearing, and he doesn't realize that I could see what he's wearing. Dude has a thong on. What is he? Is this for real? He had a thong on.
He's in Italy.
And Frank's Italian, so he's got some hair, It was disturbing.
The background of the picture I got was lovely.
Yeah, but
palm
anyway,
trees.
Frank's not here to defend himself, so we should probably just, yeah.
So Lisa, if I mean, rates are similar across whether you're talking to you or to the bank. How does somebody decide what's their best way to go? Talking about servicing clients, like how do they decide if they should be talking to you as a broker or talking to their bank?
So that's a great question. I did have somebody ask me that. So the bank and the broker have offered the same product or rate, let's say. It's usually not the same product, but the same rate. Well, am I going with the broker? Am I going with the banker? I mean, not to be biased, obviously I'm going to say go with your broker, go with your mortgage agent, because oftentimes they are going to know, or they should know, what the differences are in the nuances. So a mortgage is not all about interest rate. What you really want to focus on is the actual product that you have.
Right.
Are you going to be restricted? Are your penalties going to be too high? Are there any wonky conditions? Are they going to tell you that when this mortgage comes due, if you don't renew with us, you have to pay a fee? That's a thing.
Whoa.
Yeah, so you really need to compare apples to apples, and just comparing rate to rate is never the right way to look for a mortgage.
Right. So as a broker, you can look through product across all different lenders. And
Yeah.
That's the bonus.
And that's the learning part too. It's our job to know what other lenders are offering. We should know what's out in the market, just like you do in real estate with a broker. We need to know what all the different lenders are offering. We're always doing research on what the nuances are, what the penalties look like. Can we break the mortgage early? Do I have to sell my house to be able to access my equity, or can I refinance early? Because some of them don't allow you to break the term early. So those are all really important questions. So I'm always going to go mortgage broker, obviously for the fact that I am one, but because it's actually the right choice.
Right.
Before we go to break, I want to bring up just a hilarious story. So my girlfriend Petra listens to the show every week, and she sends me a message because I'm like, I'll throw away a deal if it doesn't make sense for the person. She just sent me a message. I didn't listen to you, and I made a ton of money on my house in 11 months. Just saying. So what happened when we first started getting together? She called me to sell her house. So I went and saw her about her house. And then the next day she sends me a property she would like to look at. And I looked at the property. I was like, no. And she's like, what do you mean? I said, I'm not showing you that house. It is literally the ugliest house in Ottawa. I don't have a vision that you could even do anything with this house. She goes, I would like to see this house. I said, I'm not showing you this house. So I told her three times. I told her 3 times I would not show her this house. So this was like a Friday. So on Monday I went to see her, and we were just started our relationship. We're just starting to get together. And she mentions the house, and she went just totally red and quiet. And I was just like, did you go buy
this house?
She went and bought it with another realtor. She bought the house, and she flipped it for like $200,000 more in like 11 months because she didn't listen to me. So,
well, I'll tell you, her vision was outstanding.
It was
Doing
amazing,
the photos on that place was amazing.
Yeah. So, but can you imagine that, just getting in a relationship and she goes and buys off another realtor? Like, what?
521-TALK, 521-8255. We'll be right back. It just occurred to me, it is August 30th today.
Crazy.
And we normally, in August, we talk about if you're thinking about selling your house in the winter or the early spring and you've got some beautiful landscaping, get some photos done.
Yeah.
Now.
Oh, good idea.
Good idea.
Right.
But we're getting close now to the point where, first of all, I was going to say, grass is going to get brown, but
too late.
Let's be honest, that's too late.
You can tell everybody that has the sprinkler systems or the fake grass now.
Or who has a really, really good photographer who
Yeah,
makes that brown grass
true.
green,
That's true.
But it's, so I'm the guy with the sprinkler because my cottage grass looks like a turf,
It's a
AstroTurf.
golf course
Yeah,
out there.
it really is. It really is. But you're right. This is the time now that people forget. And I was one of those people because I wasn't planning on selling my house one time. So I lived in a massive house in Navan. I put all my furniture away, closed my pool, did everything like that. And then I realized I was selling. I put it all back out and this and that. Greg had to virtually open my pool and virtually open my spa and all that stuff. But if you're thinking of selling your home in, I'd say anywhere from November till March,
even October, the leaves start to go.
Gardens start to go crappy. Grass is green and then it turns brown now, but it's all brown. But yeah, if you're thinking getting your house sold anywhere from October to even April, anywhere in that time frame, and you want some really nice summer pictures, and you want to make sure people see your pool open and your landscaping and all that stuff, now's the time to contact us now. Don't call us in February to list in February and hope people love your backyard of snow, right? So make sure that you call us now. We'll get Greg in. We don't even have to take your interior pictures. We can just take your
exteriors.
Just your exteriors so they look perfect. So when we do hit the market, now, when we hit in February, we're hitting with snow everywhere, but your last pictures will be your summer pictures so people get to see what your yard actually looked like.
People do want to see that.
Yeah. I mean, now, if you have let's say a townhouse with a postage stamp yard and you have nothing there, then whatever. You don't need that.
No.
But if you have a pool, if you have a large acreage, if you have a beautiful backyard, if you have a property that has lots of gardens and lots of walkways and paths and everything like that, get Greg in now. Even drone shots on lakefront properties and country properties. Get him in now to get your shots so we can have those nice pictures to help sell your house in the crappier months when the snow is flying everywhere.
People have no imagination. 4 feet of snow.
True.
Imagine the pool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just doesn't work that way.
And that's the problem. That's the problem, is because people are trying to sell their beautiful oasis in the backyard in February when there's snow everywhere. So if people can't see it, that's your selling feature. I mean, that's what people are paying for. So make sure you get those pictures now before you start putting things away, before you start closing pools, because the weather is turning. I mean, last weekend at the cottage, I was sweating. Right now, I'm going to take my jet skis out of the water.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Although I
It
think it's
turns like
supposed to get
that.
warmer again, so fingers crossed.
Yeah. But when kids go back to school and back to sports
true.
and hockey,
It's a bit blah. Yeah.
It's hard to get into enjoying that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. Lisa, birthdays.
Yes, I do. I have one birthday. It's my cousin Jesse's, my little baby cousin. He's not a baby.
Nice.
He's a great dad of 2. But it's his birthday today. So, yeah, happy birthday, Jesse.
Happy birthday,
Happy
Jesse.
birthday. I always surprise myself, and I never bring my birthdays, even though Frank usually has about 72 of them. But I do just want to remind everyone if you go to southwestparkhomes.com, southwestparkhomes.com, it's a grand opening of our subdivision in Russell for Clement Homes. You can go to my website, paulrushford.com, or clementhomes.ca. And come join us for the grand opening September 7th from 1 to 4. See the beautiful townhomes, and we have unbelievable prizes for people who are looking to buy now or very, very shortly. Like cashola.
Ooh, teasing some prizes.
Yeah, there's some good prizes. So the builder, is giving those prizes. The builder has lots of prizes. So make sure that you come see us at the grand opening September 7th in Russell, southwestparkhomes.com to learn all about it.
Awesome. Paul will be there. I'll be there.
Yep.
Charles will be there.
Charles will be there. We'll have a lot of my team will be there. But Lisa will not be there and Frank will not be there. So,
No.
but it's okay. We'll be there and you'll be there in spirit. That's all that matters.
Lisa, you'll be back next week as well.
I
right?
will.
All right.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Have a great week, everybody.
Have a great week, everyone. Support local.
Take care.